Hello and welcome to Gurukul lecture series. I am Vartika Nanda. Today I will be discussing with you something related to conflict reporting and war reporting. War reporting is a journalistic coverage and documentation of armed conflicts, including reporting on military strategies, the impact on civilians, challenges faced by embedded journalists, and the post-war reconstruction efforts. Whereas a conflict refers to a state of discord, disagreement, or tension between individuals, groups, or nations. It can manifest in various forms, ranging from verbal to physical disputes. Now, there are different types of conflicts. I would majorly be talking about 4 types of conflicts here. First is between people, when individuals don't agree or have different point of views. The second one is within yourself, feeling torn or uncertain about something inside your own mind. Third one is between groups, which is generally described as issues or tensions between different groups of people. And the fourth one is between countries, which would mean disagreements or problems involving entire nations. Now, what could be the causes of different kinds of conflicts? One is about different beliefs, because conflicts can start because people have different ideas. Number 2 could be also about not having enough resources, when there is a competition for limited things like space or maybe opportunities. The third one is about misunderstandings, where conflicts might happen because people don't understand each other. And the fourth one, which is also very commonly discussed, is about power struggles. Issues can arise when there is a fight for control or some sort of influence. So then, what is conflict reporting? Conflict reporting involves sharing information about conflicts, whether they are local, national, or international. Journalists play a crucial role in reporting on events, issues, and developments which are related to conflicts. Now, what are the key elements of conflict reporting? First one is timeliness. Reporting is often done quickly to provide the latest updates on conflict situations. The second one is accuracy. Journalists strive to present facts and events truthfully and without any bias. Third one is about the context, which means providing background information to help the audience understand the causes and implications of the conflict. And the fourth one is human stories, which would mean highlighting the impact of conflict on individuals and communities to evoke empathy. But reporting conflict is not an easy job. It is full of challenges. I would like to highlight some of the challenges here. The first one is about the safety concerns. Journalists may face dangers when reporting from conflict zones, including physical harm and restrictions on movement. The second one is about bias and propaganda. Negotiating through conflicting narratives to present a balanced view without endorsing a particular side. Third one is concerning ethical dilemmas, which would mean balancing the public's right to know with the potential harm that detailed reporting might cause. And the fourth one is access restrictions. Embedded journalists may encounter challenges due to restrictions imposed by military authorities. Now, what is the role of the media while covering conflict? First and foremost, as it is very obvious, is to inform the public. The media should provide the audience with accurate and timely information to keep them informed about the ongoing conflicts. The second one is fostering understanding. The media should help the public understand the complexities and nuances of the conflict. And third one is influencing policy, which would mean shaping public opinion, which in turn may influence government policies or international responses. There are large number of examples which are related to conflict reporting. Herein, I am mentioning a few of them. So, in the war zones, journalists reporting from war zones such as Syria or Afghanistan, providing updates on battles, humanitarian crisis, and the impact it has on the civilians. The second one could be about political unrest, coverage of protests and political conflicts like the Arab Spring to inform the global community about societal and political challenges. Third one is international conflicts. In this, we can keep in mind reporting on diplomatic tensions and negotiations between countries to keep the public informed about potential conflicts. The next one is analysis of military strategies. This will include detailed coverage and analysis of military tactics employed in specific wars. The next one is humanitarian stories. You would have, I am sure, seen or read number of humanitarian stories emerging out of conflict zones. These include highlighting the impact of war on civilians, refugees, and the aid effects. Now let us move towards the war reportage. Now, what is the coverage of war reporting and what is the scope? War reporting encompasses detailed analysis of military tactics, humanitarian implications, challenges that are faced by journalists reporting from conflict zones, and the long-term consequences and reconstruction efforts after a war. And what is the purpose of doing war reporting? There could be number of purposes. Herein I have included a couple of them. First, informing the public. The primary goal is to provide the public with accurate and timely information about the events, developments, and impact of wars. Then is creating understanding. It seeks to help people understand the complexities of conflicts, including the reasons behind them and their humanitarian toll. Third is shaping perspective. War reporting can influence public opinion and policymakers, potentially playing a role in conflict resolution and post-war recovery. And then is also to record human impact. Herein I would also like to include a very important term, which is embedded journalism. You must read about it to know more about embedded journalism. It actually refers to a reporting approach where journalists are physically and often officially attached to military units during armed conflicts. This allows reporters to have first-hand access to military operations and the front lines. What are the characteristics of embedded journalism? The number one is physical integration. Embedded journalists live and travel with military units, experiencing their daily activities and gaining unique insights. There is a restricted movement. While providing close access, embedded journalists may face restrictions on where they can go and what they can report, often for security reasons. Then is the real-time reporting. Journalists can provide real-time updates and first-hand accounts of events, offering a more immediate and personal perspective. Now, I'll be also talking to you about information warfare and dominance. So, information warfare refers to the use of information and communication technologies to gain a strategic advantage in conflicts. It involves the manipulation and control of information, influence opinions, disrupt adversaries, and achieve military or political objectives. What are the elements of information warfare? If you are a student of journalism, this would be included in your course and you should delve into it more deeply so that you are able to understand it properly. So, some of the elements are: number one, cyber operations, utilizing cyber capabilities to infiltrate, disrupt, or damage the information systems of adversaries. This is quite common, and in the past years you would have seen number of examples pertaining to this particular element. Number two is psychological operations. This means influencing the emotions, beliefs, and behaviors of individuals or groups through targeted messaging. Example is that during the World War, both the United States and the Soviet Union engaged in psychological operations using propaganda to influence public opinion and attitudes. Then there are disinformation campaigns. This includes spreading false or misleading information to confuse, deceive, or create discord among opponents. Then there is another term called the electronic warfare. This would mean jamming or interfering with communication systems, radars, and electronic devices. Again, you would have read about number of examples in the recent years. So, in military conflicts, electronic warfare tactics may include jamming enemy communication signals or disrupting radar systems to gain a tactical advantage. Now, one question that would be there in your mind is that what is the objective of information dominance? I would like to share with you the objectives here. One is the strategic influence. Information dominance aims to control the narrative, shaping perceptions to gain a strategic advantage. Example is China's Belt and Road Initiative utilizes strategic information campaigns to shape global perceptions and gain support for its economic and geopolitical objectives. Disruption of adversaries. This would mean disrupting the information and communication capabilities of adversaries to weaken their capabilities. For example, in times of conflict, nations may employ cyber attacks to disrupt the communication networks and infrastructure of their adversaries. The other one is psychological impact. This includes influencing the morale, decision making, and behavior of opponents and their supporters. The example is the use of graphic and emotionally charged imagery in wartime propaganda to influence the morale and perception of both domestic and international audiences. Now, information warfare in the modern context. If you look at it historically and if you look at the modern times, you would feel that number of changes have taken place over the years, and thus in the modern context, the information warfare has taken a very different approach. The most prominent one here is cyber attacks. So, state sponsored cyber attacks targeting critical infrastructure, military systems, or government networks. The other one is social media manipulation, spreading misinformation through social media platforms to influence public opinion. And then is hacking, infiltration, and stealing sensitive information from government, military, or government or corporate entities. Now, in this regard, we should also discuss about the challenges and concerns, because this is a very sensitive topic to deal with, and we must know what are the challenges and what are the possible concerns. The number one is attribution and difficulties. So, identifying the source of information attacks can be challenging, leading to uncertainty in responding. Second is civilian impact. Information warfare can have unintended consequences on civilians, affecting their access to information and cyber security. Then is the international law. The lack of clear rules and norms governing information warfare raises legal and ethical concerns. So, what are the countermeasures and defense mechanisms? So, first is cybersecurity measures, which would mean that strengthening the defenses against cyber threats, including robust network security and encryption. Then is the media literacy programs. This again is very crucial to understand and also implement. Educating the public to recognize and resist the influence of disinformation. Because if people or the citizens are media literate, they would be able to recognize and also resist wherever they will find any kind of disinformation or misinformation. Third one is international cooperation. This means establishing norms and agreements among nations to govern responsible behavior in cyberspace. So, till now we have discussed various dimensions of war reporting and conflict reporting. I would now come to the issues and obstacles which are pertaining to war reporting. So, journalists can face physical dangers, including the risk of injury or death when reporting from conflict zones. The targeted killing of war correspondent Mary Colvin in Syria in 2012 underscores the grave risks journalists take in pursuit of their work. The other one, which you would be little aware of, I am sure about it, is concerning restrictions and censorship. So, the issue is that governments or military authorities may impose censorship, limiting the freedom of the press and restricting access to conflict areas. Example for this is that during the Gulf War, the Iraqi government controlled and censored foreign journalists' access, limiting the information available to the public press and restricting access to conflict areas. Third again is very important, bias and propaganda. So, navigating through conflicting narratives and avoiding becoming a tool for propaganda while reporting on complex conflicts. It is very important and crucial for a journalist to remain unbiased and release a story which is not a propaganda but a truthful story. The Balkan Wars saw media outlets on all sides promoting narratives that serve their respective political agendas, making unbiased reporting challenging. Now, when we are talking about this sensitive topic, we must also understand that reporting war and conflict also entails a lot of ethical dilemmas. Journalists may face dilemmas when deciding what to report, considering the potential harm their coverage might cause. For example, the publication of graphic images or sensitive information during conflicts, such as the airing of footage showing casualties, raises ethical questions. Because on one side, journalists may think about TRPs and popularities, but on the other side, they should also be very much aware that there could be lot of unethical things which they might be sharing with the public. So, while covering such a sensitive topic, it is important that journalists maintain high standards of ethics and sensibility. The next point is about access to information, and this is an issue. Limited access to accurate and reliable information due to the chaotic nature of conflict zones, making it challenging to verify facts. So, for example, reporting on the Syrian civil war involves challenges in accessing reliable information due to the complexity and fluidity of the conflict. Trauma and mental health. Again, a very important issue because as the public might be going through a lot of mental issues, journalists can also face them. Journalists may experience trauma and mental health challenges due to exposure to violent and distressing events. So, war correspondents covering prolonged conflicts like the war in Afghanistan may grapple with psychological stress and trauma. Some of them actually require a long-term treatment after doing a coverage in such troubled war zones. The other issue and challenge here is targeting of journalists. Journalists are often deliberately targeted by both state and non-state actors to suppress information. In Yemen, journalists face threats, violence and kidnapping attempts by various parties to the conflict to control media narratives. But apart from physical stress, mental stress and sometimes lack of authentic stories, there are challenges concerning logistics as well. So, these are some of the logistical challenges. Difficulties in transportation, communication and obtaining resources in war zones can hinder effective reporting. For example, reporting from remote conflict areas such as the ongoing conflict in the Democratic Republic of Congo is challenging due to logistical constraints. Now, the other point is about public perception and sensationalism. The media's portrayal of conflicts can contribute to public misconceptions or sensationalism. For example, coverage of certain conflicts may focus on dramatic incidents, leading to an incomplete understanding of the broader context, as seen in some reporting on the Israel-Palestine conflict. There are also legal complications and implications. Journalists may face legal challenges, including accusations for violating national security laws. Herein, the example is journalists covering conflicts in authoritarian regimes such as the crackdown on press freedom in Myanmar may face legal repercussions for their reporting. So, today I am discussing with you a topic which is about war reporting and conflict reporting. I will continue this lecture in the next series.